everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Mohawk College Journalism. I'm Tanya Guerra.
And I'm John Tony.
We have a really great show lined up for you this week. Our music students have something new to show you, and we've got a cute game review.
But first, each year police officers take part in a ride to remember, to honor fallen officers. Ben Diamond has the story.
15 years ago, it started in Niagara Regional, and it was officers in Niagara that decided to cycle to the National Memorial, which is held the last weekend in September every year in Ottawa. And for 15 years now, cyclists have been coming in from across the country, members from police services Canada-wide, doing the cycle ride. All the riders and the runners all do this voluntarily, and we have shirts that we sell. Money that we do raise actually goes to help out with some of the functions, but it's also set up for the surviving families of the officers that have passed away, scholarships for the children. So any money that's raised from this goes to the fallen members' families. This is actually my first time. This is my first time getting into it. I've been well aware of it, but I was challenged by another officer, and there's a good group of us here from Hamilton. Very much looking forward to it. It's the fact that we know why we're doing it. We're doing it for the officers that have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty.
We have an opportunity for law enforcement across the country to come together and to support each other and to recognize how we deliver our services in the community and to respect those names that will be placed on the wall this year. And unfortunately, again this year, we will be placing new names on the wall to commemorate the death of officers in remembering that they are heroes in life, not death.
My motivation comes from I guess my experience on the job and having lost close members that I've worked with and seeing how the loss of another officer devastates families and friends and communities, police services. You know, I want to make sure that these guys and girls that give their lives in the line of duty are remembered, and that we honor their memory, and that we honor and respect their families for the contribution and sacrifice that they've had to make along the way. And that's why I ride. In 2003, the ride that I was on, it was Niagara only, and there was 3 of us riding for that purpose. And incrementally over the years, it's grown to now we have 127 riders this year that are signed up to ride. And you can see the ranks have swollen, and it has basically been provincial now, accepted. There's 21 different services represented here today. And hopefully we'll get this nationwide, because that's what it's intended to be. A nationwide awareness of the sacrifice that police and peace officers make in the line of duties.
Hi, I'm Professor of Music at Mohawk College, Dusty McCallie. Tonight I wrote a piece that was called Up North, and the Hamilton Arts and Letters, Paul Lisson and Fiona, they commissioned it for me.
I really, really love art pop and the way they grow and evolve over time, and just the energy and vibe they put out is tremendous to me. And I'm assuming it has something to do with this man.
I had this idea about writing something about the North, since I was coming up north, and I got this idea, and then I put a Wallace Stevens poem in the middle of it.
One must have a mind of winter to regard the frost and the boughs of the pine trees crusted with snow, and have been a cold, long time to behold the juniper shagged with ice. The spruce.
The poem is actually called Snowman by Wallace Stevens, and it fit with the mood and music, and I actually, the theme came to me when I was sleeping one night, and I got up and I jotted it down, and then I edited it the next morning, and that was it, and I started working on it. But yeah, I'm very happy that I was asked to write it, and I thought the group did a very good job. We really worked hard. They've only been playing it for 2 weeks, because I literally just finished it.
Now we have a story about a Hamilton-born artist who is living her dream painting all across Europe.
When I was young, my grandparents gave me a book, a real classical book with nudes and photos of cats and still lifes. And so as a little 8-year-old child, I was sitting there sketching. And so I think that initially sparked my interest in art, was a small book. My name is Brianne Service. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario, and I always wanted to follow my dream of studying in Italy. And so I found that OCAD in Toronto, OCAD University, has an exchange program. So I finished my fine arts degree in Florence, Italy. I schooled in Toronto, and then my final year I finished my degree. And then I met an Italian, and then I stayed. I fell in love with the city initially, so I've been there for 5 years painting, and yeah, that's my home base right now at the moment. Painting itself, I've always been drawn towards the Renaissance masters, and always trying to replicate what the aesthetic that they were able to achieve. And it's just something I've always been drawn towards. It's hard to articulate. It's just something that, you know, artists a lot of the time, they feel like they don't choose art. It's like they're chosen by it. So sometimes I feel like I can't even explain completely why. It just is. This is maybe the most inspiring church I've ever been to in my lifetime. And I was in here for 4 hours photographing everything, and it still was not enough time. I think I spent more time here than I spent in the Louvre in Paris. But as you can see here, there's like a nice peach orangey color, and it's reflected from a lot of the stained glass windows over here. And then on this side, there's other stained glasses as well, and which reflect like a lime green. And as you can see, along the altar here, it's less rendered and it's less technical. Because one aspect in Renaissance art, there were sort of two divisions of painters. There's progressive and there's regressive. Progressive painters were really, really interested in optics. So when you look at something, when it's up close in the foreground, you can see everything in high detail. But then when it, your eye looks towards something like the back of the room there, or for example, Marlaise's hair, you can't see how many pieces of strands she has, so you would not render that. You would see it more as a shape or more as an impression, so it would be a little less rendered. The regressive painters would paint every single little detail, like every piece, every little curl, every little nuance. And so just from being in Florence as well, that's an incredible influence, is trying to work with the descending of detail and aerial perspective as well. Colors that are so saturated in the front, in the foreground, tend to go towards more of like a light gray, almost transcending almost to white. So more details, less details. There are a lot of nuances in this. It's highly detailed in here, so I was really intimidated by this painting. When I went to Prague, I should say, I photographed this at every angle, and I sketched, and I could not find a really, really good particular angle. And this one actually, this was the perfect one because this has like a half arch and it has a tower going through. And it really has a nice sense of aerial perspective here. Everything in the foreground is dark. The photo that I did take of this, it was not so illuminated, but I think the artist really needs to, beef that up and add their own qualities to it, add more details and more of a light. So the light source is coming from here. And these dark Gothic towers here are featured as well as high detailed. And the stained glass as well. There's a lot of shapes in here. And since this is so highly detailed, and the sky had to be this beautiful, simplistic shape, a slight gradient, white to light blue. It's hard over there because there's such two completely different worlds. The mindset, the activity, everything. The language too, the language barrier at first helped me really focus on my artistic abilities because I always felt isolated as a child. So, and I still felt isolated over there. So I really took that into focusing on my work. So I just painted away in my studio all day and didn't have to worry about completely immersing myself in awkwardness. But then eventually over time, you know, you pick up the language and then that helps. It helps feel to become accepted is something I've never really cared for. And then as soon as I feel accepted, I'm like, okay, on to the next project. So so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Tanya, it's been a long day for us. I think it's time to kick back. You got any movie suggestions?
I can't think of anything, but Alex just went to see Black Mass. Let's see what he had to say about it.
Hi and welcome to Mohawk Movie Review. I'm Tori Blismo, joined by Alex Smythe. We're going to be reviewing Black Mass.
In the beginning, Jim was a small-town player. He's a very smart, disciplined man.
So what were your thoughts?
Well, first off, I think the acting was phenomenal in this film. That's easily one of the best part of it. Johnny Depp is phenomenal as Whitey Bulger. You don't even think or realize that he's the same guy who played Captain Jack Sparrow running around on the pirate ship. Joel Edgerton, he had a much bigger role than I expected him to, and he played it phenomenally well. And then you have some of the other supporting actors like Benedict Cumberbatch, Kevin Bacon. They all kind of play seamlessly in with the rest of it. So one of the lowlights, unfortunately, is the script. It's not very strong, and there's a lack of character development. So as a result, the great actors and cast that they have aren't really able to explore their characters to their full potential.
We get the FBI to fight our wars, and we do whatever we want to do. The success. Just getting started.
Did you find that there were any highlights?
Yeah, definitely the acting. Like I said before, great acting with Johnny Depp. He just becomes Whitey Bulger, and that is phenomenal. Joel Edgerton, again, he did a really good job. I didn't expect him to have that big of a part in the movie, just because in the trailers and everything, he looks kind of like a secondary character, but in the film, it seems like they have the same amount of screen time, which is really good because he's such a strong character. Benedict Cumberbatch, amazing acting, such a small role, but he plays it really well. Kevin Bacon and Adam Scott, you know, they were okay. I give them a passing grade. And Corey Stoll, I really could have used a bit more of him.
There's a lot of buzz around TIFF regarding this film. Do you think it lived up to its expectations?
I really don't, just because of the fact that the script limited the character development so much. In terms of the acting, great quality again, but the script didn't allow emotional moments to be played out by the key actors like Joel Edgerton and Johnny Depp. So you went into this movie seeing at the very beginning, Johnny Depp is Whitey Bulger. He's a ruthless, heartless gangster, and at the end of the movie, he's in the same place. Same thing with Joel Edgerton. He's a crooked FBI agent at the start, and at the end, he's still the crooked FBI agent. So there wasn't really a lot of change from the beginning to the end, and as a result, the audience can't really connect or relate or like these characters.
How come no one has nailed Whitey Bulger? He seems to be involved in every crime in the city, and yet the Bureau keeps saying he's clean.
Well, what's Bulger done?
What's he done? Everything.
Okay, so now, what are your final thoughts of the entire film?
Final thoughts, I'm gonna give this about a 3 out of 5. Mainly, it's for the acting. I love seeing Johnny Depp as Whitey Bulger. I could watch another 2 hours of him doing that character alone. The reason it's not higher, the script, the character development. I went into this, and during the entire film, I wasn't really rooting for any one person. I'm looking at, okay, I don't really like Joel Edgerton's character. I don't really like Johnny Depp's character. There's no one that I can really side with and kind of cheer for as the movie goes on. In terms of the character development, there was none. So that really kind of hinders any type of emotional connection you're going to have with the characters. And then finally, the supporting cast, phenomenal. You could have used more of the characters. They would have added more elements and more depth to the story. All in all, it was a good film, but it could have been better. And, you know, at the end of the day, it just falls short. Just saying.
You were just saying. Just saying gets people sent away. Just saying got me a 9-year stretch in Alcatraz. You understand? So, just saying could get you buried real quick.
Divine by Sheep is a math puzzle game for mobile and PC platforms, developed by TinyBuild, who also produced Speedrunner and No Time to Explain.
I am you from the future. There's no time to explain.
The goal of the game is to rescue as many farm animals, typically sheep, as the rescue rafts can carry. Each level has 3 rafts. If you send off each raft with the appropriate number of animals, you earn a star. Over or underloading a raft will lose you a star. A perfect level equals 3 stars. The controls are simple. If you're playing on your smartphone, it's as easy as pressing your finger on the sheep you wish to move, aiming them towards the platform you want them to go to, and releasing. On the computer, the controls work the same way, except touch is replaced with click and release. It's super easy, and it works great. The game introduces many new elements as the levels progress. This adds way more depth to the game's level design. None of the new game mechanics are annoying. They all add a new level of challenge that keeps the game interesting as you continue playing. New mechanics range from wolves who eat sheep when placed on top of each other, dynamite that explodes after your sheep jumps away, or my favorite, laser grids that slice your sheep in half. This then takes up double the space on the adjacent platform. Oh, and once the sliced up sheep reach the raft, they get taped back together, and of course are completely fine. The game has many more surprises, but I'll leave those for you to discover for yourself. The game never became frustrating for me, even when I couldn't figure it out. I never quit the game out of rage or frustration. Sometimes I would take a break, step away, then come back and continue on, usually passing the level after a few more attempts. The game isn't necessarily difficult, but it does require you to think and figure out the best way to get your sheep to safety. When you finish a level you've been trying to figure out for a while, it's an amazing feeling of accomplishment. The art style is great. The colors are bright and cheerful. The cast of characters pout and bounce around each platform in their cute attempts at finding rescue. Cute really is the word to describe this game. Everything is cute. The sheep are cute, the wolves are cute, the pigs are cute. Even the Grim Reaper is adorable. Look at him, he just wants a little sheepy friend or two. Which brings me to the fantastically absurd story. Death is lonely and wants some new friends. His solution? Flood the world and drown the inhabitants. That's right, the reason for the plight these pudgy animals must endure is because Mr. Reaper is bored, lonely, and looking for companions in the afterlife. Sorry, Grim, but drowning the world isn't a very good way to find that best bud. The music is your typical cutesy fare. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it suits the game's feel and art design. It's nice, but I typically play it muted anyways. Probably because I sneak in a level or two during work breaks and don't want to disturb my coworkers with jaunty tunes from a sheep-based rescue puzzle game. This game surprised me. It's really fun, including the ridiculous story. I'm actually still playing it. I haven't done that with a mobile game in a long time. I've actually found myself going back to levels I didn't complete with a 3-star rating in an attempt to fully complete it. I would seriously recommend trying it out. It's a great game, especially if you only have a couple minutes here and there. Even if you're not math or puzzle oriented, it's a fun distraction. Divide by Sheep is currently available for iOS and Android for $3.49, and on Steam for both Mac and PC for $5.49.
I wanna be the very best. Do you want to be the very best? Now you can if you join the Mohawk Pokemon League.
We watch movies every other week, so we start from the first one and work our way up. We haven't yet finished all of them, but we're hoping to do that one year. And then every other time we have drop-in plays, you can just come play games. We have events for different holidays, so we have a Halloween party. We're going to also do monthly forums, so you can learn new things about different things. So for instance, this month we're having a Pokemon Go forum.
A Pokemon Go forum is a discussion that you can get involved in.
It's kind of like a panel, and how it works is like you can ask questions about it if you haven't, like we're going to debunk some of the myths around the game. If people have found any content about it that's like conspiracy related, like sometimes there's just some funny images, they can bring them forward and we're just going to have a discussion about them.
If you join the Pokemon Club, you will get to be involved in an official Nintendo Pokemon League.
We're going to be an official league again, so that what that means is we're just registered with Nintendo to be an official league. We get different prizes sent from them, and we have these cards, and you fill them out, and then you can be a part of the league. You register with the number, and then, yeah, you're just set.
Competing in those challenges is really going to be exciting to try and earn all the prizes and stuff.
So I founded this club back in 2013. It was around when X and Y first came out, and we wanted a platform for all people who played the game to connect. Later I think next semester in 2014, we made it an official club, because we could get funding and we'd have a meeting room, and it was pretty awesome. It got quite a few members, and it's been going pretty well since then.
There are many clubs on campus, but the Pokemon Club stands out and attracts members in a different way.
It varies. When it's busy time at the college, a lot of the clubs don't really have that much of a turnout, but we still have pretty good turnout. It really varies depending on the week. We're hoping to get some new members this year. It's looking pretty good so far. The main difference is that we're Pokemon based, so there are a lot of clubs. We have a lot of the same members too, but other ones are like Anime Club, and it's more so anime, so really the only differentiating thing is Pokemon.
Pokemon's awesome, and you get to hang out with other cool people who like the same stuff, so why not make more friends, right?
For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Christina Costable.
Hey Tanya, are you much of a sports fan?
Not really.
Well, after you see these stories, you might change your mind.
The Hamilton Hurricanes participated in the first ever CFL-CJFL doubleheader at Tim Hortons Field, and not only did the Hurricanes get to play in front of a few extra fans who stuck around after the Tiger Cat game, they also stood on the sidelines to take in the final quarter of the CFL game.
It was awesome just to come out and be able to stand like on the sidelines and watch the game, and when everyone was leaving, they said a few things to us, so it was once in a lifetime thing, one of the coolest football things I've done so far in my career.
Two Tiger Cats used to call the CJFL home. Robin Medeiros is a former Burlington Brave, and Matt Coates used to play for the Hurricanes. After the Tiger Cats were beaten 25-18 by a late surge from the Edmonton Eskimos, and the Hurricanes game was underway, quite a few players made their way back onto the field to catch a glimpse of the junior players.
You know, it's great to see the support from our home city like that. You know, crowds here, not as big, but hey, it was great that we had a few extra fans today, and the players as well. It's good to see support from some professional athletes who we look up to, and it was good. It was cool to be a part of it for sure.
Andrew Mazzotti, who had 4 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown, says the team's offensive success is in large part to Jarrell Gaddishaw, who had 16 carries for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I personally think it was our running game, our O-line too. We moved the ball like, their defense wasn't even there, and Jarrell, he had a great game, and he's been running strong for the last few games. He's a big part of our offense and a reason as to why, I think that we're moving the ball the way we are.
Defense is playing good. Defense has always come out and play as good as they can, and we had guys making plays all day, and just a successful day for both sides. All 3 sides, actually, special teams included.
The win was the Hurricanes' 4th in a row, improving their record to 4-1 on the season. Mazzotti says the success has been an entire team effort, from the defense to the offense, that is led by quarterback Jonathan Matea, who completed 24 of 36 of his passes in the game for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, you know what? We got to give it to our defense too. Our defense helps out stopping their offense, and we can just pick up from our defense. And I feel like our offense is clicking, and our quarterback, he's making great reads, throwing good balls, and we just seem to be steamrolling right now, and it's doing well. We're doing well.
And I think we're like a family. So when you go out there and play like a family, good things happen, and we see that every time we come out here.
For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Christina Costable.
The Mohawk men's soccer team was looking for their first win as they battled the Conestoga Condors Thursday night at Redeemer College. The two teams were wearing out the midfield turf for most of the first half until Mohawk's Patrick Corbett lifted one past Conestoga goalie Jeff Martins to give the Mountaineers a 1-0 lead. Early in the second half, Corbett scored his second goal to put Mohawk up 2-0, and they would never look back. Coach Richard Bennett was relieved to get the first win out of the way.
Well, tonight we need this victory anyway, and we know we need to get going. We adjust the lineup again and just to see what players can do. So I'm really happy with our performance tonight. It's 3-0 victory, and they work hard and they earn it. It's a work in progress, so we still have a long way to go. But I'm quite happy with what I see so far tonight.
First-year midfielder Frank Brown scored the team's third and final goal and hopes the team's victory will lead to improvement the rest of the season.
Starting the season was all right, but like we wanted to get better, and today we proved that we got to get back into the training pitch, and get better.
The victory evened the Mountaineers' record at 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Reporting for Mohawk Journalism, I'm Jimmy Goldenberg. The Mohawk men's rugby team was hard at work on their practice pitch at Hillfield Strathallan College Thursday. The Mountaineers were preparing for their Friday night game against reigning OCAA champion, the Humber College Hawks. On paper, it looks like a difficult matchup for Mohawk, but head coach Bill Stewart led his players through spirited drills and hopes his team will be able to execute and play well against the defending champs.
This guy calls for it. He catches it. That guy hasn't moved. He didn't move. He's absolutely no good right here when this guy catches the ball.
An opening game win against Sheridan College and a subsequent tie against Brock University's second team should provide some confidence for the Mountaineers. Third-year player Eric Alvarado thinks that keeping things simple will be the key to a strong game against Humber.
Just practice. Everyone's trying to come here focused and ready to get better. Obviously, Humber's going to be a tough side, but we have to go into it with a good attitude and work our hardest. That's it. That's all we got to go in with, and just a good attitude, really.
Mohawk will need at least one more victory this season to assure themselves a playoff spot. Reporting for Mohawk Journalism, I'm Jimmy Goldenberg.
Set up, get behind him.
Well, that's the show. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we did making it.
For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm John Tonin.
And I'm Tanya Guerra. See you next week.